Hi guys, so you've successfully created your machine learning model, but you're not quite there yet. It's very essential to know about two anomalous cases that might arise concerning your particular code and its working. Although these are anomalous cases, the knowledge of the two is very essential for you to understand what is the optimal level for your code to run and your data to be assessed. What are these? Well, these are overfitting and underfitting. Here's a machine learning expert, Mr. Smith Shah, to help you understand what exactly these two terms are.
Moving on to another exercise, which is about overfitting and underfitting. So here we will draw the plot, Sachin, that you were talking about. So remember the model complexity curve that I showed in the slides. I'll just show it to you again. This is the model complexity curve. So now you will create such a curve for the digits dataset. In this exercise, you will compute and plot the training and testing accuracy scores for a variety of neighbor values. That is for neighbor 4, neighbor 5, neighbor equals to 6, or so on. Okay. So for a variety of values, we will do it. So by observing how the accuracy scores differ for the training and test sets with different values of neighbors, that is with different values of k, you will develop your intuition for overfitting and underfitting. So let's dive into it. Here we are simply importing the digits data set. I will run it and it will import it for us. Next, as done before, we simply store our data and target in X and Y and do train test split as we have done earlier. Next, okay, so this is done. Next, we want to draw a plot. So how to draw a plot? I will just show you how np.arange works. So if you type np.arange 1, 9, what this would give you is an array starting from 1 and ending at 9 minus 1. It doesn't include the 9th element, all right? So if you want to include 9, you just increase this by 1 and this would include 9 as well. So this is how np.arange works. It creates values between this and this minus 1 with equal intervals such that all the values are of equal intervals. So that is why we use np.arange. So here, since we have used np.arange 1, 9, so this is the array that will be returned and it will be stored in this variable. Any doubt up till now how np.arange works? Next, what we do is we compute here the len of this variable. The len of this variable would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So it would be 8. So then what does np.empty does is it creates an array of 8 elements. I will show it to you how. np.empty, let's pass in 8. So it creates an array of 8 elements such that all the values are random, okay, between 0 and 1. So this is what np.empty creates. It creates an array between values 0 and 1 of this many elements, of 8 elements. So if you count it, this must be 8. So this array is stored in train accuracy. Similarly, you do this one more time. Since this is done randomly, right? So you would get another random value for your test accuracy. Ideally, this train and test be computed like this as we had done, okay? This is our training set score. And similarly, if you just replace this by train and train, you would get your train test score. But this is just to show, we are just simulating it. We are just passing random values to see how it works. So that is what I am showing you. Ideally, you just use the score function and you just do it, okay? But this is just for a single value, right? For a single value of k. However, here we are doing it for how many values? We are doing for 8 values of k. So that is why we are simulating it. We are not repeating the process 8 times. We are just simulating. So suppose if you don't want to simulate it, repeat this 8 times. So the first score, okay, you put it in your first value over here. The second model that you perform, the score you put it here, the third model score should be here, and so on. If you don't want to simulate this, you can build this manually as well, but this would be a time consuming approach. So now let's move ahead. We'll just instantiate this. All right. So now what we are doing is just instantiating it. So we take this function, okay, k-neighbors function, k-neighbors classifier function. To that, inside our n underscore neighbors, we pass a value of k. So I will show you how enumerate works in a second. I will just pass this k. I will show you how enumerate works. So if you take enumerate of, so what this does is creates a key value pair. I will show you how. Suppose you pass 8, right? Or you pass this neighbors function, or you pass this list, suppose. And if I just print it, print ABC, no issues. I will just store this, enumerate. Okay, in short, what I was telling you is, suppose you have a value, right? Suppose if I just print this array, it is just returning that object. It is not able to print it, no issues. So what it does is, for this first element, it would, so what we are doing is in this line, right? For I comma k enumerate neighbors. So it will create a key value pair such that your first key will be your index. So in this case, it would be 0. And the second would be your value, in this case 1. Okay, and it will do it for the other 8 values. All right, understood? So the first pair would be 0, 1. The second pair would be 1, 2. Since this is an index of 1, remember the index starts from 1. All right. So this would be a pair of 1, 2. Since here the index is 2, so this would be a pair of 2, 3. And this is how enumerate works. So if we do for I, k enumerate neighbors, so for each pairs it will iterate. So for first pair, it will do for 0, 1, right? Since this has an index of 0. So 0 will be stored in I and 1 will be stored in k. And then we will have a k neighbors classifier with neighbors equal to 1. Similarly, after doing the whole process, it will loop again. Then it will go on to the second. So now this has an index of 1, right? So this would be 1, 2. So I would be 1 and k would be 2. So now neighbors would have a value of 2. It will do it for all the 8 values. This still returns an object. But anyways, you get the point, right? What I was trying to explain enumerate. Any doubts regarding enumerate, how it works? We are yet to complete this whole function, but any doubt regarding how enumerate works? So what we are doing is we are looping for different values of k. Is this notebook uploaded to GitHub? No, RK, it is not. Any doubt, or should we proceed ahead? I guess it is clear, so we can proceed ahead. Then after instantiating, as I mentioned, it is a 3-step process: instantiate, fit, and predict. Now we will fit. So we write knn.fit. We'll fit on X train and Y train. X train and Y train. Okay, after fitting, what we do is we compute the accuracy on the training set. So as we had done earlier in the exercise, we had computed the accuracy of test set, right? So now we will do that. knn.score. First, we will do it for training set and then for test set. So X train and Y train. and then X test and Y test. Use the same KNN score method, KNN score function, sorry. Next, we are simply passing this neighbors, which is an array. Okay. So if you just look at the plot, what is our x-axis? It is just a list of values from starting from whatever, 0 to whatever. Okay. So we want that, right, list. So we are just passing this np.arange that we created, that is stored in our neighbors variable. So we are just passing neighbors variable as our x-axis. Our test accuracy should be our y-axis. Then again, since we are wanting to draw two plots, right, on the same graph, so that is why we call plt.plot again. First time on a train on a test accuracy, and second time on a train accuracy. We label them so that this label, what it does is it creates this thing. The label that you see here, it creates this. After that, we simply write what plt.legend does is it draws the label. So the label that you see here, plt.legend draws it. Simply you pass x label and y label for x axis and y axis. I will just run this. So as you can see, now we have created plots as we had seen earlier. So this is how you can create plot.